In Hinamoto, the Hyajiro Kitetsuju, an armored train, passes an abandoned station and gets attacked by several Kabane. Humans turn monsters by a viral infection. The Bushi on the train fight and defeat them, but one is bitten and the rest force him to commit suicide to prevent him from turning and endanger the rest. In the meantime, at Aragane Station, Ikoma, a young steamsmith, works on a powerful piercing gun capable of killing the Kabane. On the next day, Ikoma, while doing his regular job, Ikoma explains his progress with Takumi and realizes his mistake for the gun and wants to go home and work on it, but they receive news that Kitetsuju arrives. While they perform cleaning on the train, Ikoma steals some Kabane body parts. Kenshu Yamagawa, the leader of the Yamagawa family, welcomes and excuses Mume and Shimon, two passengers on the train, from the mandatory Kabane inspection. The inspection finds an infected, who tries to run while stating he isn't a Kabane. Ikoma interfere, protecting the man, stating they need to lock him and not kill him, as that's the rules the Bushi made themselves. That only annoys the Bushi, who then attack Ikoma, and the Kabane hearts he collected get seen. The man is then shot, and as he dies, everyone realizes he wasn't infected, while Ikoma gets thrown in jail in suspicion of being Kabane. During the night, Mume sneaks out and visits Ikoma as she is intrigued by his personality and beliefs. Another Hyajiro Fusaju arrives at the station. The defensive bridge gets lowered, but as the train is taken over by the Kabane, it crashes at the defensive wall, allowing the Kabane to attack the station. Emergency is announced, and Ikoma manages to escape jail and heads home. He manages to lure a Kabane into his house to test his gun. As he kills the Kabane, he starts celebration only to find out he got bitten. Shimon gets bitten too and instructs Mume to continue to Kangakaku and await their master orders. He then proceeds and takes his life. Ikoma starts transforming into Kabane. To prevent it, he uses several painful and dangerous methods to prevent his blood to flow and carry the virus to his brain. As he successfully does, he reverts the transformation to his human form. Meanwhile, Mume faces and kills a Kabane using a blade in her shoe. Ikoma somehow survives, stopping the virus from infecting him and keeping his humanity. Takumi arrives looking for Ikoma, and Ikoma explains that his gun worked and that he got bitten but stopped the infection. Meanwhile, Yamagawa and other survivors fight a defensive battle against the Kabane and seek opportunity to escape to Kitetsuju. Mume arrives in battle gear, offering to clear the way so Yukaina, the only remaining engineer, can commander the Kitetsuju. She heads into the Kabane group, leading them away and killing them. Ikoma and Takumi attempt to board the train, but are stopped for inspection. Two Kabane appears, and Ikoma wants to fight them, but Mume arrives and kills them. She sees something's different about Ikoma and vouches for him, so he can board the train. Ayama gives her master key to start the train. Kurusu Kanochi, Bushi serving Ayam, wants Mume to help they defend the train, but she refuses and falls asleep. Ikoma helps fending off a Kabane, showing his gun, but in the process, his shinning infected heart is exposed and Kurusu shoots him off the Kitetsuju. A group of Kabane gets on the train tracks, and Ayam sees her father Kenshu among them. They run him over, but when they stop to lower the drawbridge, a Kabane body part was blocking the mechanism. Kurusu wants to go and lower the manual lever, and while he argues with his subordinate, they see Ikoma fighting and killing the Kabane. Wanting to know they got saved by the man they abandoned, he goes and lowers the lever. The train continues, leaving Ikoma, but Takumi and Mume manages to get Ikoma back on the train. Kurusu gives Ikoma a suicide bag and wants him to kill himself. Mume intervenes and reveals that they are Kabaneri, beings between human and Kabane. Mume reveals she is a Kabaneri. Kurusu wants to kill her and Ikoma, but Ayam stops him and reminds them they were saved by those two. The Kitetsuju is headed for Kangakaku, the shogun's greatest stronghold, and Mume wants to stay on board, promising to stay in the same train car. However, the passengers are not trusting the Kabaneri and are unhappy with the lack of enough food and water. Mume explains she is heading to Kangakaku on a mission she can't reveal, and that after fighting for a while, she needs to sleep to recover. Because of that, she wants Ikoma to be her shield and protect her during her sleep. But since he is useless at the moment, she begins training him personally in preparation for future attacks. She feels a Kabane presence and rushes out of the car looking for it, causing panic among the passengers. She couldn't explain her reasons to Iam for leaving the car, but then Iam gets informed they are low on water and need to restock. They stop to fix the water tank and restock on water. Iam uses the opportunity to hold a vigil by passengers' previous request. Mume wonders if Ikoma is going to pray and what is the stone on his hand as it hurts when he hits her with it. Ikoma tells how he lost his family and how his sister died from a Kabane attack 5 years ago. The stone was commonly found in the river around where they lived, and he kept it as a memento for his sister. A group of passengers gather planning on killing the Kabaneri, and Mume comes out to fight them. Iam arrives and stops the fight. Disappointed, Mume goes to the other passengers. Iam attacks Ikoma to prove that he isn't an enemy, and Ikoma tells her about his vow to his sister to kill the Kabane, appeasing the passengers' fears and making them disband. Mume tells Kajika that she is hungry, and since she is half Kabane, she needs blood. That causes the passengers to fear her, but then a pregnant woman had turned into Kabane, and Mume proceeds to kill her. Meanwhile, Iam apologizes to Ikoma for attacking him, but soon Ikoma passes out, and as she tries to help him, he wakes up delirious from his own need of blood and tries to bite Iam. People were unable to understand what was happening as Mume kills a pregnant Kabane woman, which they thought it was human. Kurusu pushes Ikoma away from Iam, and Ikoma comes to his senses. A large group of Kabane then appears from the forest, and they are forced to get back on the train and leave. As the fear of the Kabaneri grew, the 6 chiefs, led by Akuji, makes Iam hand over the master key of Kitetsuju. Akuji then reroutes the train for the mountains to provide a shorter route to Kangakaku, in spite of being more dangerous path. Takomi, Kajika, and Sukari are considered traitors and are then sent to the last train car with Mume and Ikoma. By the 6 chiefs' orders, some men try to detach the last car. However, in that moment, Kabane ambushes the train and jump on it. Among them is a sword-wielding Wazatori, who enters the train and starts killing people. Iam and Kurusu then lead the Bushi to fight and hold off the Kabane, until the surviving passengers escape to the front cars. Kurusu then fights the remaining Kabane with his sword skills. Meanwhile, Mume and Ikoma escape the last car and move towards the front car while on top of the train. But Mume soon falls asleep from exhaustion and hunger. The Wazatori reaches Kurusu and he starts fighting him. As he attempts to pierce his heart, Kurusu's sword breaks and the Wazatori stabs Kurusu. As the Bushi were barely holding against the Wazatori, Ikoma arrives and asks for blood in order to be able to fight the Wazatori. Iam then slashes her arm and offers him her blood in exchange for he to fight for them. Ikoma then takes her blood and goes and easily kills the Wazatori with his gun. Iam then regains the master key and declares that the Kabaneri will remain on the train and that she will be providing them her blood. As she alone won't be able to provide all the blood they need, Ikoma's friends and some others also volunteer to give their blood. Ikoma helps the Bushi by developing guns and swords capable of killing the Kabane. 2 men cause commotion over argument for food, and that annoys Mume and scares the children. She then beats up both of them. Iam calls her the bodyguard of Kitetsuju. The train arrives at Yashiro Station, and they realize the station was attacked by Kabane, and there are some survivors remaining. They rescue the survivors, who talk of a black fog before the attack. Mume meets an old friend in Inoku, a crippled fighter loyal to her brother, the young master. He tells her that the shogunate is acting suspiciously and is stockpiling on weapons capable of only killing humans. He advises her to complete her mission while she is still human to not be thrown out like him. Debris is blocking the train tracks, and Ikoma suggests a cautious plan using a crane to safely remove the debris. Mume agrees to join them, but won't fight with them and insists on a head-on clash, calling them cowards. Ikoma leads a group of Bushi and engineers to start the crane, but after seeing how Mume ignores his warning and heads straight into the boiler room, where all the Kabane are, he heads her way. Mume enters the boiler room and starts fighting the Kabane, killing all of them, including a Wazatori, but as more appear, she goes after them. As Ikoma's group follow Mume, they see that the large number of Kabane she took down. When Ikoma starts to activate the boiler, the Kabane that Mume killed had provoked a large mass of Kabane that was located at the bottom of the station. Ikoma calls for a retreat, and decides he to stay and operate the crane. A weakening Mume uses her remaining energy to fight and hold off the Kabane from the crane, but a melee Wazatori comes and throws her off the crane platform. Ikoma leaves the crane before clearing the debris and heads towards Mume. He kills the Wazatori and reaches Mume, but then after some tremors, a giant shadowy figure appears. The black smoke is revealed to be a colony of Kabane fused together. Having no choice, the Katetsuju retreats to the train station workshop and seal the door. Ikoma finds Mume trapped under rubble and tries to get her out. Meanwhile, on Katetsuju, the committee is discussing their options of escaping and whatever they leave the Kabaneri behind or not. Ikoma fails to free Mume, and as Kabanes approach, he decides to leave them away and fight them, killing as many as he can. As Mume loses and regains her consciousness, he recalls her past and how her mother died. Kibito, Kurusu, and some others them come and clear the rubble, freeing Mume. Mume then rushes to find Ikoma, who is badly injured, and they return to Katetsuju together. While the black smoke is distracted and takes in Kabane bodies, Mume explains its fuse colony. Sakari had noticed earlier a Type 48 cannon, and Katetsuju had went and taken it. Mume explains that a single Kabane had become the fuse colony heart, and that they need to expose it, and she will kill it. Meanwhile, Ikoma had clears the debris from the tracks. As Katetsuju go, the fuse colony goes after them. Takumi fires the cannon a bit early, and that only causes Kabanes to land on the train. Ikoma, Kurusu, and the Bushi take care of the Kabane. As the fuse colony approaches the front cars, Takumi sees an opportunity and shots the cannon again, hitting the heart and revealing it. Mume immediately jumps to take out the heart. To her surprise, the heart was a fellow Kabaneri comrade turned Kabane. As she takes it out, the fused colony disbands and Katetsuju manages to leave the station. Ikoma copies a sword move from Kurusu, with Mume commenting that Kabaneri are good copying others. Kurusu gets a bit annoyed, but Takumi tells Ikoma to copy that move too, which annoys Kurusu even more. The passengers are happy to learn that the station is still occupied by humans. Ayam leaves the 6 chiefs in charge of the Katetsuju while he meets the station lord. Ayama gives an item of value to that they can sell it and purchase bamboo for the Tanabata's ceremony, so people can hang their wishes on it. Ikoma and the group goes for supplies. Ayama is tired of waiting for the lord, so she makes Kurusu shoots one of his jet guns. That attracts the attention of the station minister, who after small demonstration is amazed by the jet guns, and they exchange food provisions for the jet bullets technology intervened by Ikoma. Seeing the bamboo before and runs away. When Ikoma finds her, she tells him her past and that her name was Hozumi. Ikoma promises her that he will turn her human again and that she will eat rice, just like her mother wanted her to do so. That evening they start hanging their wishes on the bamboo. Seeing how small dreams people have, Ikoma shares his dream of killing all Kabane, and Ayam reveals her dream is to reopen the Aragane station. Followed by their example, everyone starts sharing their dream. The next day, the Hayajiro Kokuju arrives with the Hunter Squad, an independent army formed to hunt Kabane. Led by, he knows him as the one that told Mume the weak must die. Biba then invites them inside the Hayajiro to talk. But on his way there, he stops to help out with some train repairs, and Ikoma decides to help too. Meanwhile, Yuryu seemingly attacks Ayama and Kurusu, but he was just killing a spider. Biba tells Ikoma that he isn't casting anyone away, but trying to save them, just like how Mume decided to save herself by fighting the Kabane. Kabane had been led to the station, and they attack it. Biba Hen leads his Hayajiro out. Ikoma speaks with Takumi and tells him he believed that Biba had turned Mume into a Kabaneri for his own purposes and feels the presence of Kabane in the front cars of Kokuju. Meanwhile, Biba gives Mume orders to get Katetsuju's master key from Ayam. Biba then questions one of the men that plotted against him, Hiratsuka, on whose orders he was left to die 10 years ago, and the man reveals it was by the shogun's orders. Mume manages to get the key, but had been tricked by Yukaina, who gave her a fake key. She goes out and reveals that the Kabane are there for experiments, and that she became Kabaneri on her own will and refuses to go with Ikoma. As Mume leaves, Ikoma tells Ayama and Takumi that Biba isn't a hero, as he was smiling when he killed Inoku. Meanwhile, Biba kills Hiratsuka and smiles again. Kokuju and Kitetsuju arrive at the Iwado station, the last before Kangakaku, but by the shogun's orders, the samurai are preventing entry for Kokuju and Biba. Ayam is relieved that they are parting ways with the hunters and asks Ikoma to get Mume. Lord Maeda, leader of the fortress, agrees to a meeting with Biba on the condition that only women and children accompany him. Ayama is meeting with Maeda first when bring Biba's kabane inside Iwado. As the alarm for kabane rings, Biba and Hirobai takes out Maeda's men, and Biba then proceeds killing Maeda. Mume is horrified by what her actions have led to. Kurusu goes to find Ayam, but sees she being taken as hostage by Biba on Kokuju. Biba's men then proceed to kill the Bushi at the station as retribution to the shogun's cowardice over the past 10 years. Biba injects Hirobai with a blue blood serum so that she can become the heart of a fused colony, anew, by giving her white blood. Kurusu comes to Ayam rescue, but Hirobai turns against Biba's men and starts killing them. When she faces Biba, she stops her attack and comes to her senses. However, Biba then kills her without mercy as she had served her purpose. Biba's men capture all remaining Bushi and Kitetsuju passengers, seeing all the destruction, death, and Biba's actions. Mume realizes that all he had told her was a lie. Biba had taken Kitetsuju and his passengers, using their blood to feed his kabane. While Takumi was giving blood, he sees a hunter's member Warabi, who cuts an arm of another man just for fun and gets angry. He goes to Ikoma, who tells him they will make their move tomorrow night when they come for blood again. Biba offers a deal to Ayam, that if she can open the gates to Kangakaku using her uncle and arrange a meeting with his father, he will guarantee the safety of her people. Wondering what his plan is, Biba tells her his past of the time his father sent him with 400,000 troops to Kyushu to exterminate the kabane. They were winning, but then replacement supplies stopped arriving, they were overrun and wiped out. His father was behind all of this, and he wants to punish his father with his own hands. Meanwhile, Ikoma reveals his plan on taking control of the front car of Kokuju. Mume goes to Biba asking why he is taking Kitetsuju's passengers' blood. He realizes she fears him and tells her that he will give a message so that the passengers won't be hurt if they remain peaceful. As she leaves, Biba comments she needs serious repairs. Next night, Ikoma starts his rebellion, who then falls off the train into a coast far below. Kajika and the rest find Takumi dead and mourn him. Meanwhile, Ikoma is still alive and washed up on a shore. Biba tells Mume about how his father had attacked him out of fear when he was young and injects Mume with black blood so she can turn into a new. The shogun Okimiso Amadori announces that Biba had destroyed Iwado Station, but assures his people that Kangakaku is impenetrable and then kills the only communication operator who knew about the black fog monster, to not spread fear among the people. Kitetsuju arrives at Kangakaku and Ayam pretends to have captured Biba prisoner because he had Kitetsuju's passengers hostage. She is allowed entry of Kangakaku and meets his uncle. Mume wakes up to find Ikoma collapsed nearby and Biba charging at him, intending to keep fighting or he will kill Ikoma there. He refuses to listen to Mume, forcing her to pierce his heart as she tells him that sometimes she wishes he had listened to her. She tells him that even thought they are weak, they will continue living and strive for a future where they can eat rice. As he collapses, she tells him her name is Hozumi. Meanwhile, Ayam and others wonder on how to escape Kangakaku. Yuryu arrives and offers that if they let them on Kitetsuju, he will tell them. When Ayam agrees, he reveals that Ikoma and Kurusu are also in Kangakaku. Kajika then uses the radio station announcements to call for them and tell them where they need to go to escape. Mume and Kurusu then carry the unconscious Ikoma towards the Kitetsuju and manage to board it and leave Kangakaku. The effects of the black blood start to diminish and Ikoma wakes up. Mume realizes that Biba had given white blood to Ikoma while both of them were unconscious.